Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's Hatha practice. A few props that'll be handy for today is just having a couple of your hard blocks nearby, and then either a soft block or a blanket, something for padding for sitting up off of. I'll invite you to get started in staff pose for today. So you can bring any of your props nearby. I'm going to sit up off of my soft block. And then for staff pose, having the legs mostly extended out in front. And just take a moment to set this up. So whatever distance between the feet feels the most comfortable, and sometimes a little movement within the shape will help you settle in. And then from here, see what helps you find that length in the spine. So it may even mean sitting up off of something a little bit higher, maybe like a bolster or a couple of blocks. And then take a moment to notice as well that length from the heels to the tailbone. And you are welcome to bend the knees here as much as you need. Sometimes a rolled up blanket or something can feel supportive here as well. See where you want to have the hands. My arms are quite long, so they comfortably reach down. I know for some people this pose is a lot more comfortable with a block under each hand. Take a moment to lengthen through the spine to soften the shoulders. Hands can stay by your side the whole time. Hands can come to prayer as well. A more challenging version of the shape would be to have the arms extended up overhead. So wherever you want to begin with, make sure it's a shape that you can still breathe comfortably. Start to settle the body in. At any point, if you need a shakeout or if you'd rather come to an easy pose, cross-legged, then please choose that. And once you've found your shape, start to notice your breath. Notice the quality of each inhale and exhale. We're here for about one more minute, but notice the body and keep breathing that space into the chest, that length to the spine. Keep grounding through the hips, through anything that's touching the floor. And when you feel ready to move on from here, you can wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe give the ankles a little rock side to side, maybe a little shake out for the hands. You can roll the head side to side. And from here, it might feel nice to bend the knees, maybe lean back on the hands and start to windshield wiper the knees side to side. Awesome. And then when you're ready, come to an easy pose or any comfortable seated position. And take a moment to settle the hips to the ground, to lengthen the spine, maybe that slight tuck of the chin. And take a deep inhale here. And as you exhale, twist over towards the right. You can connect the hands to the body or to the floor. And stay here. Take a deep inhale, lengthen just a little further through the spine. And as you exhale, you're welcome to twist deeper. Maybe take the gaze over that right shoulder. Awesome. When you're ready with an inhale breath, coming back to center. And then just give the shoulders, the hips a little wiggle here. When you're ready, deep inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist towards the left, towards the opposite side. And the side may feel a little different. Take that first breath to reset, and maybe to twist a little deeper with the next exhale. And when you're ready with an inhale, return to center, maybe a counter twist. And then when you're ready, we'll swing the legs around. Come and find a tabletop position, and you can sit your hard block somewhere near the top of the mat. And set up the hands somewhere underneath the shoulders, the knees roughly underneath the hips. And with an inhale breath, let the belly sag down, lift the heart space, lift the tailbone. As you exhale, press the hands to the floor and dome the upper back. Inhale, lengthen the front body, lift the gaze. And exhale, lengthen the back body. And keep going with your breath at your pace. You can speed it up or slow it down. You can add on anything you need. We're here for about 5 more breaths. So if you have added something on that has 2 sides or 2 directions, just make sure you have even time on both. Always the option to pause anywhere you need. Also, when you're ready, when you feel even, then come back to your tabletop position. And from here, we'll step the left foot forward between the hands. This is where your hard blocks might be handy, one for each hand. Back foot can stay untucked if you prefer. You can also pad that back knee if it feels sensitive. And we'll flow a little differently here, so take your inhale breath, open the heart space, lift the gaze. As you exhale, hips back, left leg can extend any amount. And then move with your breath. Inhale, come forward, lengthen front body, and exhale back, lengthen back body. Move your breath, your pace, and again, the option to pause anywhere along the way if there's a sticky spot you want to breathe into. If there's anything you want to add to the movement, go for that as well, adding any side stretches or twists along the way. Anything else? The next time your hips come back, we'll pause for a few breaths. So you might choose stillness here. The left leg can stay as bent as you need it. Always the option to pulse a little differently. So maybe with an inhale coming to a partway lift, and with an exhale, maybe hinging over that left leg a little further. We're here for about 5 breaths, stillness or movement. Last breath here. The next time you inhale, come back to your low lunge. And then from here, you can release your blocks and bring the spine a little more upright. If you want something more active and you want to tuck the back toe and lift the back knee, then go for it here. Otherwise, reach the arms forward, palms together. Inhale, breath, open the left arm towards the left to find a twist. And as you exhale, bring that back to center. And again, inhale and exhale. And keep going with your breath. Last few here, the whole inhale to open and the whole exhale to bring it back. Last one. And return to center. Inhale, reach both arms up. As you exhale, bring the fingertips to the floor and we'll step forward to a forward fold. It might feel good to move the hips a little, move the legs. Things will likely feel quite different for the left leg and for the right leg, so you might just notice that. When you feel ready to find stillness, come and settle in any version of a forward fold. So you can keep a bend to the knees as much as you need. You could have the hands to props. They can dangle, maybe somewhere to the legs. See if you can let the neck, the head go here, maybe a nod, yes and no, or a few circles. Letting the upper body, the spine get as heavy as you can make it. Mindful that there's no pinching, no pain through the low back or anywhere else. All right, when you're ready to move on, hands maybe to the legs, take an inhale, halfway lift, and sigh it out. And again. Last one. Now to transition, inhale, halfway lift, and step the left foot all the way to the back of the mat, and we'll lower down to that low lunge. Hands to your blocks, either side of the front foot. Inhale, breath, open the front body, lift the gaze. And exhale, breath, hips back, right leg extends. And start to move with your breath at your pace. Make this movement whatever you need it to be. Last couple. And the next time you exhale and the hips come back, we'll pause. So you can bring the blocks a little closer and you can adjust the proportions of your shape a little bit. In stillness or with an inhale, find a partway lift, lengthen. With your exhale, hinge and fold over the right leg. And then a few breaths wherever you are. The next time you inhale, coming up, coming back to your lunge. And again, the option to lift the back knee if you like, and to pat it. When you're ready, you come on up. Reach the arms forward. Take a moment to secure the legs, find that sense of stability through the pelvis. And then inhale breath, open the right arm towards the right, find a twist. And exhale back to center. And the same side, keep going. Last 3. Final one. Inhale, open. Exhale back. And then a little different for the transition. You can bring your hands to the floor. This time we'll step the right leg back to join the left, and we'll set it for child's pose. So maybe taking the knees a little wider. If you like a prop between hips and heels, then go for it. When you're ready, you start to drape the torso down onto the mat. And if you need some support for the forehead here, if you want to change the expression with the arms, maybe give yourself a little movement to settle in. And then finding your stillness and the shape as you feel ready. And from your stillness, take a moment to scan through the body just to check in. Notice your breath, notice the quality of each inhale and exhale. And when you feel ready, you can press down through the hands, come and find your tabletop position. Maybe give the hips a little movement here, the shoulders. Maybe roll the head a few times in each direction. All right, when you're ready, step one foot between the hands and then the other, and we'll come and find our forward fold. And this may feel a little different than before, so as much of a bend to the knees as you need. And the option for a few binds here, one option is to take hands to opposite elbows. You could bring hands over the ears. You could interlace hands behind the back. So choose the expression of the shape that feels best for you right now. Even within your chosen shape, if there's a movement that would feel good, choose that. Otherwise, find your stillness. And if you have a bind, you can let that go. Hands to the legs. With an inhale, come and find your halfway lift and lengthen. And sigh it out. And twice more. Last one. We'll come up to standing. Inhale, come all the way up. You can pause along the way. And when you come up, you might want to reach the arms up overhead, especially if you feel a little lightheaded. You can keep the arms here for as long as you need. And when you feel ready to, you can release your arms down to your sides. And we'll come and find mountain pose. You can keep your blocks kind of near the top of the mat for when you need them after. For mountain pose, whatever distance between the feet feels the most steady for you, the most stable, and then have the toes point where they naturally point. So if they're naturally slightly in or out, you can do the same here. And then lift and spread the toes, really connect each one down to the floor as you lower them. Notice where your weight is. Is it more heels or toes? See if you can help balance out the two. And then as you press the feet to the floor, feel the spine rebound up. Find a little softness for the shoulders, and then find that length through the back line of the neck, maybe a slight tuck of the chin. And palms might open as well. If it feels more comfortable to have them facing the body, then that's fine too. And if you want to challenge the balance, close down the eyes. Notice your breath. And see if you can become aware of where the pelvis is relative to the ankles and relative to the shoulders. And sometimes there's a tendency in standing to let the pelvis come forward a little bit. If you find that happening, you might find a slight hug from pubic bone to belly button to counteract it. And then for some of us, there might be a tendency to stick the bum back a little bit. If you find that, you might find a similar movement through the front body, through the core, to help counteract that also. You're welcome to stay in stillness longer, but when you feel ready, you flutter the eyes, wiggle the fingers and the toes. And take a big step back with that left foot, far enough back that it feels like a lunge shape, but not so far that the heel wants to lift up. And then for today, I'd suggest having those back toes mostly pointing forward. Of course, if you need to open the leg out at all, then go for it. And then this might feel like a wobbly place here, so you might even take the right foot to the right a little bit. When you're ready, we'll bend into that front knee, and find a warrior one-like shape. So again, take a moment to notice if that heel is lifting up, you might shorten the stance a little bit. If there's something that's kind of blocking you and you need to take those left toes a little further to the left, then go for that. As you do bend into that front knee, notice what the hips are doing here. See if you can line them up as best you can. So you might imagine drawing that right hip back, the left hip forward. And then if it feels like a back bend here, if it feels like the belly's sticking forward, find that hug pubic bone to belly button to counteract it, to find a sense of stability. And then hands can find prayer if you like, or you might choose to reach the arms up towards the ceiling, find a little softness for the shoulders. And then the option to close down the eyes and challenge the balance. Embrace the wobbles if they happen, and as the body stays in the shape, you may even find that something becomes available that wasn't before, so you could even explore lengthening the shape a little bit. If there's anything else, go for it. And keep the shape strong, keep the feet pressing to the floor, keep the chest proud. If the shoulders are shrugging, maybe soften them back down. All right, and if the arms are lifted, you can lower them down and extend the front leg towards straight. We're going to head to pyramid, so if you know that you'd benefit from shortening the stance a little bit, then great. And if you want to have your blocks even closer, then go for that. So for pyramid, keep encouraging that right hip back, the left hip forward, so that the pelvis, the chest are all facing towards the front of the mat. You're welcome to micro bend either knee if it feels like it's locking. And take an inhale breath, press the feet down, lengthen the spine. And then as you exhale, imagine that you're hinging from the hips and start to bring the spine towards parallel to the floor. Of course, you can stop sooner if you need to. So the hands can stay on the body, or you could bring your hands to your blocks. And keep that right hip back, keep the spine forward, the crown of the head reaching towards the front of the room. And you're welcome to stay in a halfway lift shape here. If you'd like to fold a little deeper, then go for it. And there's always the option to pulse between the two shapes. If you are settling into a fold and you don't need the hands for support, there's always the option to explore a bind. So maybe hands interlace at the low back, maybe hands to hips. Whatever you're choosing, breathe into it. Last few deep breaths here. When you're ready, come up to a halfway lift. We're going to come up to stand and we're going to balance on the right foot, bringing the left knee up with us. So you can come all the way up when you're ready and then really ground down through the right foot. Maybe find a gaze point to keep you steady. And when you're ready, come on up, bring the left knee with you. So check in here, find your shape. Notice if the left hip is lifting higher than the right. See if you can level that out. And then a little work for the core here. You can interlace hands to the belly of the left thigh. More challenge, hands to prayer. More challenge still, arms towards the ceiling. I'm going to choose the medium one. And then take a deep inhale. Find that slight hug through the belly. As you exhale, extend the left leg towards straight. Inhale to rebend. And exhale, extend. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Now inhale, bend the knee. And then pause. We'll take it to a twist, so right hand can find the left knee. The next time you inhale, start to open the chest over towards the left. If you find yourself losing your balance, that's all good. Just come back. So hand can stay at the heart. If you like to reach the left arm behind you, then go for it. And then see where the spine is, see where the shoulders are relative to the pelvis. Sometimes there's a tendency to lean back here for the pelvis to come forward. So see if you can do your best to stack shoulders over hips, over that right ankle. And then breathe here for the last few breaths. If you want more challenge, maybe release the right arm towards the front. All right, inhale, breath, unravel, reach the arms to the ceiling, and then exhale, release the left leg, give the right leg a little shake. Anything else that needs a shake out, go for it. All right, now lift and spread the left toes, lower them down with a little space, and then straight away we'll lift the right knee up to center. Left hand to the right knee, find your gaze point, your balance, deep inhale, and then exhale, we'll twist over towards the right. So hand to chest, arm can reach behind you, gaze can be wherever you need it to be. Breathe here. All right, we'll keep the knee lifted, inhale breath, unravel back to center. And now we'll bring the ankle just on top of the left knee or just above the left knee. If this shape doesn't work for you, feel free to cross ankle to ankle instead. And this may feel like plenty. You can flex the right foot, keep that right knee open. This may feel like enough through the hip. Otherwise, I'll encourage you to bend that left knee. You might start off slow, just see what it feels like. Maybe the option to bend it even deeper. So think almost like a one-legged chair, so the hips are pointing back as even as you can make them. And breathe into your shape, maybe hands to prayer. Notice if there's a tendency to hold the breath here or to scrunch up the face. See if you can breathe, see if you can soften. For the last few breaths, if you want to sink even deeper, then go for it. When you're ready, inhale breath, come all the way up, and then lower the right foot, the left, give everything a little shake out. When you're ready, we'll come and find mountain pose. So take a moment to set yourself, and then close down the eyes. If for any reason mountain pose doesn't feel like a good place to rest from, you're welcome to come to a forward fold or a squat instead. Be wherever you need to be. When you feel ready to, wiggle the fingers and the toes, give the head a rock side to side. Awesome. We'll set up all that for the second side. So blocks either side of the mat. Take a big step back with the right foot. And again, right foot will mostly face forward. Take the foot as far back as you can, but keeping that heel firmly planted to the floor. When you feel ready to, you can bend into that front knee. And then straight away, notice your proportions, if you need to lengthen or shorten, if you need to widen to help with wobbling. Notice what the pelvis is doing, this time encouraging that left hip back, right hip forward to keep the chest facing forward on the mat. Slight hug through the belly, length through the spine, tuck of the chin. Hands to prayer, arms to ceiling. Find your warrior one. Maybe close down the eyes. Notice the space around the eyes, the space around the mouth. If there's some tension there, maybe you can let that go. And preparing to transition. When you're ready, release the arms, extend the front leg towards straight. And again, if you know you need to adjust your stance to shorten or to widen or anything like that, then go for it. Left hip back, right hip forward. Take a deep inhale and lengthen. And then as you exhale from the hips, start to hinge your way forward. Hands might find props or hands on the body somewhere. And choose to stay or choose to flow, inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to fold. Choose stillness or movement in either shape. If you feel ready to fold over the front leg, then go for it. You can find your stillness there. Always the option for bind, especially if you did something on one side, you might choose to mirror it on this side. Notice that left hip, keep encouraging it back, keep breathing into whatever you're feeling.
transition up to standing. So from wherever you are, you can come to your halfway lift, pause for a moment, and then pressing the feet down with an inhale, come all the way up. We'll transition to stand on the front foot, so ground down through the left toes, find your gaze point, and when you're ready with an inhale, come to find your balance, lift the right knee to center. If you need to reset, then go for it. Notice what the pelvis is doing. If that right side is lifting, keep it in line with the left. Hands to the right thigh, to prayer, to the ceiling. Deep inhale, and exhale, extend. 2 more, in and out. Last one. Inhale, bend. And left hand to the right knee. Preparing for that twist, take an inhale to lengthen. As you exhale, twist towards the right, maybe reaching right arm back. A little softness for the shoulders if they're shrugging. Notice where the shoulders are relative to the pelvis and the ankle. Can you stack them all as best you can? And then for the last few breaths, maybe reach the left arm towards the front. And keep the knee lifted. Inhale, breath, unravel, reach up. And then lower the leg, the arms, give everything a little shake out. All right, and then keep that right foot down, lift the left knee to center, right hand to the left knee. Find your balance, take a deep inhale, and then twist towards the left. Left arm can reach back. Keep that slight hug through the belly, keep your breath nice and deep. All right, inhale, breath, unravel to center, and then flex the left foot, stack the left ankle on top of the right knee, or ankle to ankle. And check in to see what the shape feels like. Left knee open to the left, pelvis still even. You might stay, or you might start to bend into that right knee. Go slow. This side may feel completely different. And if you start to feel anything you describe as pain, whether it's in the ankle, the knee, the hip, the low back, anywhere else, back out until you can no longer feel it. Finding that balance between, going deep enough that the balance becomes a little easier, or staying higher where the balance is harder, the leg maybe isn't working as much. So find a place that feels sustainable for the next few breaths. All right, inhale, breath, come all the way up, bring the knee with you, and then lower, give everything a shake out. Awesome. And if you want to rest in standing in your mountain pose, then go for it. Otherwise, I'll invite you to find a forward fold. So if you're coming with me, circle the arms up with an inhale, and with your exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Halfway lift just to reset, to lengthen, and then hinge and fold over the legs. Any arm expression you like, stillness or movement. And from your forward fold, if you have a bind, release it. Come to your halfway lift. And then we'll heel toe the feet about as wide as the mat, toes point out, and then start to bend the knees, and we'll come and find a squat. So see what your squat feels like today, see what you need. Always the option for a standing squat. You can lower the bum to the floor as well. You can make yourself a seat with your props. If the hands need to stay down, especially for balance, then go for it. Otherwise, maybe hands come to prayer at the heart. If it feels like the knees or the elbows are pressing the knees apart, then make just enough resistance with the knees that you can find a sense of stability through the pelvis, and you might even use that to help the spine lengthen up a little bit. Eyes can be open or closed here, and breathe wherever you're feeling this. All right, bring the fingertips to the floor, and then heel toe the feet a little closer as you bring the hips back up. And from here, we'll step one foot back and then the other, coming to a kneeling shape. But keep the toes tucked under as best you can. Start to bring the hips towards the heels. Now, while you're with the hands on the floor, just check in to make sure that all the toes are tucked under so that none of them are left out. And then if you want a little more distance between heels, between knees, or anything like that, go for it. A little bit of a foot stretch here so you can start to bring yourself upright. Now, this will likely feel quite intense, but you don't want it to feel excruciating. You don't want it to feel painful. So if you're finding that you're losing your breath, then you can back out at any point, either by bringing the hands down to the floor or by finding an upright kneel for a break. Always the option to bring a prop between hips and heels here as well. Release the arms to wherever feels comfortable. If you can close down the eyes, then great. Breathe deeply here. Last 5 deep breaths. All right, and then when you're ready, you can bring the hands down to the floor, untuck the feet, give the tops of the feet a tap, enjoy the release. All right, and then hips towards the heels, and swing the legs around and bring the feet flat to the floor. And you can scoop the flesh of the bum out of the way. And setting up for boat pose, so take a moment to lengthen from the tailbone to the crown. Hands can be to the knees. Feet can stay down, any version of boat pose that you like. Feet can float or be on tippy toes. You can release the arms for more challenge. Maybe you want to pulse a little bit with the breath here or something else. Otherwise, choose stillness. Maybe close down the eyes. If you notice a tendency to stick the chin forward, find a slight tug here. Space for the chest, length for the spine, softness for anything you don't need. Last few deep breaths. If you need a little more time, then stay. Otherwise, lower the feet to the floor, and then we'll lower all the way down onto the back. So make sure you have space behind you. And once you touch down, bring the elbows by the ribs, fingertips towards the ceiling. And you can walk your feet in so that they're roughly underneath the knees. Make sure that they feel relatively even. You can lift and spread the toes, lower them down. Really press the whole sole of each foot to the floor. And press the elbows down, press the shoulders down. And then when you're ready, with an inhale, start to lift the belly button, the pelvis up towards the ceiling for bridge pose. This may feel like enough. If you want to add a shoulder stretch, you could think about grabbing the edges of the mat or walking the shoulders closer together, perhaps to interlace under the low back. Notice what the legs are doing. Keep them active. Keep the feet pressing to the floor. And if this is pinchy for the knees, see if it feels better from tippy toe. And you're welcome to stay for up to 5 or so more breaths. Whenever you feel ready, you can lower down out of the pose. If you have the hands interlaced, you can release them first, release the shoulders, and then slowly sequence the spine down to the floor. Once you arrive, it might feel nice to take the feet wide and rest the knees in together. Hands can rest on the body. And when the spine is ready, we'll set up for butterfly from here. So if you have your heart blocks nearby, they may be handy. For butterfly, we'll take the soles of the feet together, the knees open nice and wide, and then it might be nice to have something to rest the legs into. And check in here to see if the body needs any extra support. Hands can be on the body or beside it. You could also take the arms up overhead into a different expression and choose whatever feels best. And take a moment to notice the inner line of the leg, the groin, the adductors. Notice if there is some tension holding there and see if that's something that you can release using the breath. And with each inhale, finding that space wherever you can. And with each exhale, softening anything you don't need. And if the knees are open wide, you can reach down with the hands and help them back together. It might feel nice to take the feet wide here and give yourself a windshield wiper side to side. And any of the blocks you have nearby, when you're ready, you can walk the feet back in and then take the block between the legs wherever feels best. Scoot the hips to the left and then lower the knees down to the right for a supine twist. You can adjust anything you need to here. If you'd rather skip the block or if there's a different twist that your body's craving, then go for it. If you like to reach the arms to a T shape, it might feel nice to take the gaze down towards the left. If the head is turned to one side, you can bring that back to center first. And then squeeze your prop, bring the knees back up to center. You can scoot the hips to the right now and then let the knees lower down to the left. Find your second side. This side may feel different, so if you need to use your props differently or adjust the shape overall, then go for it. And maybe gaze down towards the right. Bringing the head back to center as you're ready. Squeezing the prop, bringing the legs back up, hips to midline. You can move your prop off to the side and we'll collect the knees into the chest and give yourself a squeeze, a rock side to side. And when you're ready, you can take it to a happy baby, reaching between the knees, catching hold of feet, ankles, or shins, maybe lifting feet like they're standing on the ceiling. You might rock side to side here if you like to explore extending one leg towards straight and then rebending to extend the other side. That might feel nice as well. Or maybe stillness. And if you need a little more time in Happy Baby, you're welcome to stay. Otherwise, as you feel ready, we'll release the feet down to the floor. You can start to set yourself up for your resting shape. So for Shavasana today, if it feels good to find legs extended, arms by the sides, then great. But listen to your body if you need a slightly different shape, if you want to take a prop under each thigh, if you need to adjust lighting or clothing or anything like that. So find the shape that feels the most inviting, the most comfortable. You can start to release your breath as well, letting it return to its natural inhale and exhale. Maybe give the jaw a little movement side to side to release. You might run your tongue along your teeth, between teeth and lips, top set and then bottom set. You can do it a couple times, releasing any tension there. And bring your attention to the space around the eyes, the eyebrows, the center of the forehead. Is there anything that can release a little bit more? Let the body get heavy as you settle yourself in. you bring your attention back to this space, and deepening the breath to reawaken the body. When you're ready, you might wiggle the fingers and the toes, rotate the wrists and rotate the ankles. You might reach the arms up overhead and give yourself a full body stretch. Reach the toes, reach the fingers, wiggle the hips. And when you're ready, roll onto one side wherever you have the most room and take a pause for a breath or two. Let the body adjust. And then with the support of the hands, coming up to find any comfortable seated position, maybe cross-legged or something else, and you can use your props here as well. And settle the hips, rebound the spine, find that length for the back of the neck. Noticing the body, the breath. Notice your head space as well. And when you're ready, collecting the hands in at the heart, maybe bowing the chin towards the chest. And thank you for sharing your breath, your energy today. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for Hatha Practice today. And my name is Nicholas. If you have any questions, please reach out and have a great week.